Hello, I'm Marcus V. Calvert, and welcome to Tales Unlimited, a disturbing thought of the day. Uh, okay. Near future, you have this dude, they call him the 3-Day Kid. Why? Because he makes weapons. He makes weapons very, very sound design. Think Tony Stark, only he doesn't have the savvy to become a billionaire. He doesn't have a company handed down to him. It's more like he's hired by an arms design company that makes advanced weapons for clients with a lot of bank. And what makes him special is that he can design anything, like a sound design, give you the skeleton, the bare bones for it at least, in 3 days. So you want to have an exploding necktie, a killer surfboard, a satellite laser that actually works, like a proper killer spy satellite. Give this man 3 days, pizza, music, and just utter solitude for 3 days, 72 hours, and he will rock you. And they swear by him. They love him. His bosses love him, and his bosses, the higher up, they love him. He's their golden goose. And then word gets to the ones up on high, owners of the company, that when this guy takes his sabbaticals, he's making other specs. He's making weapons specs. He's holding out on them, and they're the opposite of happy. So they think he's stealing from them because the contract is any weapon specs you make, we get. Anything else, yeah, fine. But I mean, if you're making weapon specs, we might take those specs, then blow your head off just to show our displeasure. We'll just make it look like a home invasion. So they send a team of guys to basically torture him up for the specs. Things get out of hand, and he loses his sight. He coughs up the specs, and or basically he had a copy of them, but what they got was like the original specs that like they make with the servers or something. They find his concealed files and they decrypt them, and what they find is that, oh, okay, he's making like high-end prosthetics. So if like every weapons design for like an area of the world where like it will be used, like let's say a smart bomb, he designs a smart bomb, he's designing prosthetics. If he's designing something that rots out the limbs, he'll create, prosthetic for that. Or poison gas, uh, he'll create something that will help recover from it, like cyber lungs. Something that blows out the eyes, he'll create cyber eyes. And as it happened, he gets blinded during the course of this break-in. And his bosses are like, well, damn it, he's basically got all of these trademarked. We can't steal them. So I guess we'll just finesse them out of him and make it look like someone else did it, a rival company or some rogue bastards. Yeah, that's it. So whatever you do, keep these off the market. Well, somebody doesn't listen and they try to do some like back market, back alley deal thing. So this dude recovers and he's like, okay, I came up with specs for Cyber Eyes. I want the first set. Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, we'll put you under protective custody and all this stuff. It's like, okay, thank you. Give him his new eyes. He starts looking into who did this, and he finds that that greedy person who ignored orders did tried to sell some of his non-weapon specs. He figures out his employers screwed him. He traces it along. He gets the names of everybody. He does this just by very discreet hacking. It's like, okay, da 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 da. Doesn't tell anybody. Doesn't ask for any help. He figures it all out on his own. He's that smart. He makes that his 3-day project. In 3 days, he finds all the people responsible for what happened to him. And he's like, you know what? I can weaponize these. Give me 3 days. And in 3 days, he comes up with viable specs for an ocular weapon. And he's like, I want to be the test pilot for this bad boy. And they're not so sure. He's like, come on, I got attacked. I might get attacked next year or the year after that. And I mean, this protective custody thing is nice, but it's not going to last forever. Sooner or later, if somebody wants to get to me, they're going to get to me. I want to feel safe. And he basically creates eyes that have built-in sensors, lethal measures, countermeasures, even a little AI that does some, tactical avoidance, da 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 da. And he gives them a decent set of cyber eyes. And then he has his decent set of cyber eyes that he held out from everybody. And basically, they implant the core unit, and then he slips in the upgrades and takes out the fail safes that they didn't tell him about, but he figures they have. So basically, they think they have him on a tight leash, like we could press a button and things won't work. Well, he's waiting for the next board meeting. You see where this is going, right? He's going to have himself some revenge. All he has to do is get them all in the same place at the same time. Or, if you want to be a true genius and avoid, the legalities, he basically sells his non-weapon specs on the open market, takes all the money on the back end, hires mercs to kill everybody who's involved, and does it in such a way that the police can never pin it on him. And there he is with his fancy eyes, waiting for retribution, knowing that it's not going to come because they're afraid of what he could do because they know he swindled them on the specs. Yeah, give or take. It could be a nice little plot device of something. Backstory, a book. Maybe this is how this dude rises on his own and becomes an evil Tony Stark. Okay, I'm Marcus V. Calvert. This is Tales Unlimited, the disturbing thought of the day. Please check out talesunlimited.net. That's our website. What's on it? Well, there are the podcasts, 2 of them daily. There is the disturbing thought of the day, this one, and the Battery Daily Prompt. They're worthy. Also, there are book links. Hit the links. It'll take you to Amazon. There are ebooks and print books available. Battery series, 200 writing prompts, a little wisdom on writing. It's a how-to book you'll actually finish. For that great American novelist who wants to write the great American novel, and you can't quite finish it. It's also good for people in other countries, I suppose. Don't take that personal like. And you follow the system, and if you follow it through deeply enough, you can actually start selling books and making money before you finish your first novel. Also good for people at other levels. So let's say you're an evil GM, you're a game designer, cartoonist, screenwriter. Hey, what if you're a grizzled novelist with a ton of books already written? You don't need my help. Maybe, but maybe you could use some of these battery prompts to nudge you towards some new project. Also, there are the anthologies, 2 of them. New School Twilight Zone, 25 stories to a book. The themes are Unlikely Heroes, that's unheroic, and Schemes, that's the book of schemes. So unheroic story would be something like Consider It Done. Near future, there's a cop, dirty. Of course, everybody in this town is. It's a cartel town. And a cartel building where they launder their money gets hit. Daytime heist, brazen. There are bodies, but nothing was stolen. Nothing was sabotaged. Nothing was hacked. And that's what intrigues this cop because he's a detective. He loves riddles like this. And he figures out what's going on. And normally he wouldn't care except there's a body, an innocent body involved. And this cop who takes money from a cartel decides to get a little street justice at their expense. And then Book of Schemes, all types of schemes, silly schemes, crazy schemes, twisted schemes, dark schemes, schemes, right? It's a story called Murphy's Law of Zombie Killing. And here's the law. The longer you mess with a zombie, like stay in his proximity, the more likely you are to screw up. So always run. Never fight a zombie, never contain a zombie, never stay near a zombie. Why? Because something will always go wrong and you'll always end up dead. But what no one's figured out yet is that the zombie apocalypse, aliens, man. It's an alien invasion using zombies, man. If you like how I think, maybe like how I write, yeah. Also, novel series, I, Villain. It's a tale of supervillain fiction, working on the 5th book now. It's about Benjamin Clyde, gentleman fixer, dude in a suit. Pay him enough money, his team of mercenaries, elite, can basically do anything that's required. They work for governments, terror cells, mythical creatures. You name it, they do it. They even do jobs for aliens. Did jobs for aliens. Because see, here's what happens. He is forced to fire his supervillains. He is forced to give up his billions of dollars and the right to be a crook because of a deal gone bad. And he is also forced to fight crime. It's like the icing on the cake because they see him as a suit with a phone. They don't know about his past. So he decides to get into the world saving business because there aren't that many heroes left. There was something of a superhero apocalypse. And he helped. Now he forms a new company called iVillain. What do? They kill the bad guys and take their stuff. But not just any bad guy, the top tier people who are worth his time. All right, I'm Marcus V. Calvert. This is Tales Unlimited, Disturbing Thought of the Day. Until tomorrow.